here in Dallas, Texas at the Defending America Dream Summit, the new Queen of Dallas,
Oh.
Dana Loesch of the,
Good title.
I know, seriously, of the Data Show, the Blaze, of the Dana Radio, unbelievable. Dana, last time I saw you was here in Texas, and you showed me this.
On my phone.
On your
Nobody else
phone,
had seen
and
it.
I was like, badass on steroids. So first of all, congratulations, hands off my gun. That's incredible.
Thank you. I am so excited about this. First off, I just want to let everybody know how sore my shoulder was. Trying to keep, it's one thing to just carry a rifle, but to keep it perfectly straight and match it up with the little spot that they taped up above so I could keep it perfectly straight and also make it to look like I didn't have the posture of a cocktail shrimp. It was so hard. And then I thought, wow, maybe models aren't so stupid after that, but no. I'm so proud of this book. I put 3 years worth of research into one book, and it was absolute labor of love, and everything that I could research, every argument that I could think of pushing back on, I addressed it in this particular book. Every myth that has ever been made in favor of gun control, every bunk argument, and I get into who the purveyors of gun control are, what do they have to gain from this, and also, ways that you can fight back in your own area, because they're starting to wise up. Never thought I'd say that. And they're realizing that they're not going to win nationally. Unfortunately, no one's been able to discover where their state capital is. Unfortunately for them, fortunately for us. So you have people trying to push gun control legislation from the meat aisle of a Kroger. Sorry, but I haven't seen any lawmakers go into a Target or a Staples or a Kroger or a Sonic or anything like that. So they haven't found their state capital yet, but they're realizing that localizing might be a better way to ban guns as opposed to doing it on the national level. So I get into that as well. There's a lot in this book.
When you spend that much time and you're so passionate about what you do, and then you get the book in your hand and you get this, just try to describe the feeling to me. In your heart, what does it feel like to see this and to get it?
I wanted to write a book more than I've ever wanted to do television or radio. In fact, I studied print media. I didn't study broadcasting, and I hated speaking to people. And so
that's so obvious. Right.
No, it was baptism by fire. And my favorite thing as a kid, I used to love going to the bookstore, and I would have any money that I earned from doing chores, I would take it and I would spend it at the bookstore. And I would sit in the bookstore before hipsters found coffee shops there, and I would sit there and I would smell the books, and I loved the glue, the way the glue smelled, not that I'm a glue sniffer or advocating for that, and I loved the way the paper smelled. And then when they sent me the galley copies this week, I opened it up, and it was like I was 9 years old again. And I don't care, I'm not even going to try to act like I'm too cool to pretend that this isn't a big deal. I pumped my fist like a piston, and I smelled it. I just walked around, and I'm not going to lie to you. I put one on my nightstand, and I have one in my backpack, and I'm really proud of it.
That's so awesome. Talk about your other big success. You're going to 5 days a week on the Blaze.
Yeah, on the Blaze.
How incredible does that feel?
Oh, I'm very, I love where I work. The Blaze and everybody there, it's just it's such a great environment. Everybody is so, it's really a creative space to be in. And they give you your due. They give you your room, too. You can go around and you can do what no one has told me, well, the only time that I was ever told no is when I wanted to dress up as Meghan McCain and interview Glenn Beck as Meghan. And he was like, maybe not. That was the only time that they ever told me no.
Well, I saw your...
I dressed a man up in an adult onesie and had him play with guns, unloaded, to mock that ABC special.
Right.
So, and they were like, well, okay.
Well, and I also saw your Jesse Ventura segment with the box of feminine hygiene products.
That went on too long. That segment did. It went on way too long. I know this, but it was. I had a lot of fun, and they just let me. They let you experiment, and they let you have fun with stuff. And those were toy guns, by the way. It was my son's pellet gun. That looks like an AR. It wasn't the real thing, so people don't have to freak out. Not our audience, but
I understand.
But I love it there. I'm excited. It's a lot easier to do daily live than it is weekly. I hate doing weekly shows. I love the format.
Well, you're a daily live person. That's your thing now, so it makes more sense.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And they're like, Dana, you only get 1 hour a week. What? You see how this was supposed to be a couple of minutes? And I'm like, Cam.
All right, I'll wrap it up because I know you got to go. Real quick, we're here in Dallas. You moved to Dallas from St. Louis. Talk about Ferguson for a minute, because I know you and Chris lived close to Ferguson.
Yeah.
There's so many issues there with race, militarization of the police, possible police brutality. It goes on and on and on and on. What was your take on Ferguson, and where does Ferguson go from here? And actually, where does the country go from here, because it's become a national issue?
I don't know where Ferguson goes from here. I still have family and friends that live there. We lived just, like 5 to 10 minutes away. We live downtown in the city. I could see the arch from my backyard. It's sad. I hated seeing that happen. The thing is this is what happens when you vote for big government. This is what big government rots. It's exactly what this is. The way that it was handled. If you don't like if you don't like the police state, ask yourself, then who controls the state? Who controls the state in Ferguson? You have Democrat sheriffs, and yeah, I'm going to be completely partisan about this. You have Democrat sheriffs. You have a Democrat rep for that area. You have one, a moderate Republican conservative that's the mayor of that area, who's only just recently elected. And this is what happens when you get big government. People who complain about the militarization of local law enforcement, well, where have they been? Since 2008, we've been talking about this. In 2009, I talked about the MIAC report, which was a statewide report in Missouri. It had Governor Jay Nixon's name on it, and it had the Missouri Highway Patrol's name on it, local law enforcement names on it, and they were saying that if they were talking about behavior that could be defined as that of a domestic terrorist. And if you read Ayn Rand, or you carried a Gadsden flag, which is a military authorized flag, then that could be behavior that could be potentially identified as that being of a domestic terrorist. Then they had the MIAC report. Then in Missouri, you had the Obama Truth Squad, where you had Bob McCullough, who is the county prosecutor for St. Louis County, and you had Sheriff Glenn Boyer, who's been the sheriff since before I was born. I think he's a vampire because he hasn't aged and he's been there forever. And they came out with the Obama Truth Squad, not to persecute, but to prosecute people that they thought may say something untrue or misleading about then Senator Barack Obama. So we have been talking about this super heavy-handed law enforcement, the law enforcement heads, which I think you can criticize without disrespecting them in it, because I have family who have served in law enforcement, and I love what they do, and they get a lot of crap and they don't get enough due. But unfortunately they can't run the department themselves. Those are the heads of the law enforcement, and those are the people we're criticizing.
Last question: as awful as Jay Nixon has been in this situation and others, I don't know her name, but there was a state representative who literally tweeted to him, "F you."
Oh gosh, which one?
Yeah, but she tweeted "F you."
It was either Maria Chappelle Nadal or it was Jamila Nasheed. See, Jay Nixon has been MIA. He's a wallflower. He thought he could become a VP contender or maybe a possible senator by just sitting on the sidelines and twiddling his thumbs.
But hold on. But regardless of his negatives, if you have someone in elected politics tweeting "F you" to the governor,
No, that's
I mean,
bad.
regardless of Democrat or Republican, where is civility gone?
And I'm trying to remember if this was the same senator that had proposed a bill. I think it was the same senator that had proposed a bill demanding that schools check and make sure that parents don't have firearms in their homes. And I'm pretty sure if it was Maria Chappelle Nadal, I'm pretty sure it was either her or Jamila Nasheed. That was one of the pieces of legislation that they had proposed over a year ago. But that's absolutely, I don't like Jay Nixon, but I'm not going to sit here and criticize my governor that way, or my former governor.
Right.
And an elected official needs to have better grace and better representation and more respect for the office that they hold. Respect for office goes two ways, and unfortunately we have people in it that don't respect it themselves.
Dana, where do people find, where's the one-stop shop for Dana Loesch?
DanaRadio.com, and you can go and pre-order Hands Off My Gun. My preferred retailer's Barnes & Noble. It's out October 21st.
You're the best. Congrats on the book and the show.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Dana.
Thanks, Kim. You too.